Welcome to Class 17, which will cover preparing reports in Casemap. The first question, obviously, is what is a report book exactly? And the answer is basically a report book is nothing more than a capture of one or more of the tables in Casemap, such as the fact table, the issues table, the objects table, and so forth. And the report book is simply a way of printing or sharing one of those tables, one or more of those tables, with someone else. For example, the privilege log that we talked about earlier is a report book in Casemap. So it's something that you would generate to share with the opposing counsel, and so the opposing counsel would know which documents you'd withheld as being privileged. Obviously, your opposing counsel doesn't think of the privilege log as a report book. The point is that you can share information from within Casemap with someone else who doesn't have the program, and that's the real benefit of the report books. Typically, to create a report book, you would go to the Casemap menu and choose Reports, and then look at the drop-down menu for your additional options. So here you see in Casemap, we're going to go to the Reports menu and look at the various choices we have. For example, we could have chosen to create a privilege log, a summary judgment log, or reports by issue or object. But the main area where we're going to create reports is in this section here called Report Books. And here's where we get most of the options. Most of these options are going to be things that we would send to our client or a witness. Okay, we've already looked at the privilege log report, so let's talk about doing a summary judgment report. You may recall from civil procedure that a court may enter a summary judgment only when there is no material issue of fact, no genuine issue of material fact. So the question is, which facts are not in dispute or are indisputable? And in the sample case that we get with Casemap, the Hawkins case, we can filter quickly using the summary judgment report to see just those facts that are not in dispute, because we've kept track of this in a field called status. So you see in Casemap, here we can filter on the status field, looking at just the facts that are undisputed. And if we do that and filter by that selection, then we'll get just the facts that are undisputed. The advantage of the report tool is that we don't have to go through all the machinations of setting up the fields and filtering. The report tool does this for us automatically and outputs it to a nicely printed document that we can forward on to whomever we want to send it to. So let's walk through the process in Casemap. You go to Reports, select the Summary Judgment Wizard, which is going to walk you through a series of steps. You're going to tell it you want to use the default options in Casemap. You have the choice of outputting to Word, WordPerfect, or to a web HTML file, which is what we're going to do. And you click that, and then it's going to run through a series of processing. Then it's going to output it. Now what you'll see here is that it's got all of the facts that are undisputed or indisputable grouped by issue. And it also lists the source of the facts. So you can scroll through and see if you have undisputed facts for each one of these issues. If you're missing one, then you know that perhaps you won't be able to get summary judgment. Now let's go back and look at the choices as far as report books go. You see under the menu options here that Casemap gives us 9 preset report books: authorities, case summary, fact and documents grouped by person, and so forth. All of these different reports are pre-generated, so they're reports that you can just select quickly, and you can add to this list if you'd like to, and we'll talk about each one of these in just a few seconds. So let's take a look at the Mark Me Up report in Casemap. We would go to the Report menu, then choose Report Books, and then number 8 is Mark Me Up. We have several choices here. We could print the document, preview it, or convert it to a PDF. We don't need Acrobat in order to convert it to a PDF, but we have that, so we can. So we're going to choose Preview. Let the computer do its thing and process the document. The first page of the report is a statement of confidentiality. The second page is the table of contents. Now the introduction section is very important because, as we mentioned, this is the Mark Me Up report, and it's the client that's going to be doing the marking up. So the introduction section explains to the client what the purpose of this report is and what kind of information the client is looking to focus in on and what the client's supposed to do. So if you read the introduction section carefully, you'll see that there's explicit directions in here for the client. Check for accuracy, try to help us improve our descriptions, spot any issues that we're missing, any names we've misspelled, and so forth. So this introduction section explains that all to the client. And the rest of the sections you're familiar with. The cast of characters section, in the case, the Hawkins case, lists the description, people, and so forth. The fact chronology section lists the time, fact text, and potential sources. So if the sources are missing, the client can help identify those. The document index, of course, is what we've been working on recently, and that contains all of the documents in the cases, who authored them, who received them, and a description. So all of that stuff is included in the Mark Me Up report. So you see that reports are used not only to transmit information, but also to gather information. And that's what the Mark Me Up report does. In the beginning, we need to gather information from our clients, so we generate a report that helps us accomplish that task. Other reports are designed to tell the client what's been happening in the case. An example of this would be the What's New in the Past 14 Days report. So the What's New in Last 14 Days creates a report book that includes all new records entered into the case file in the 2 weeks before the report book is run. Now this includes only new records and not updated ones. But you'll see that in this case you can show your client, okay, here's all the new facts we've added, here are all the new documents, and so forth. So this is a good report to run and give to the client every 2 weeks. Fortunately, Casemap also allows you to modify the standard reports that are included. So, for example, in the Mark Me Up report, if you wanted to change some of the elements of that report, you could easily do that in Casemap. All you'd have to do is go to the Reports menu, choose Report Books, and then the Manage Report Books choice. Select this, and it's going to pull up a dialog box with all the reports. You select the Mark Me Up report, and then you're going to modify it. So you would choose this Modify button. And let's say we want to modify the introduction section. So we click here and click on Edit the Content. And you can see here's the content in the report. So we could select certain passages and retype those passages to say something different than what Casemap's standard language is, and make it tailored to our needs instead of what Casemap has. The easiest way to learn more about report books is just to play with these various books and see what they do. Open them up, create a report, and see what gets generated. Another useful tool in Casemap, or in any software program for that matter, is the Help menu. This is where you'll often find an index of tutorials that explain to you how to use the various options in the program. So in Casemap, we would go to the Help menu and choose Contents. Now this is pretty similar to any standard Windows program. You get a list of topics and subtopics. You choose the subtopic that pertains to what you want to do. You click on it, and the program will provide you with information. So this is really the way to learn how to do this stuff yourself. You have a question, go to the Help menu. It's like the encyclopedia for how to use a particular program. Okay, so let's wrap up today with a couple of final points about creating reports in Casemap. One of the best aspects of the Casemap reports is that you can share information with the client, and the client doesn't have to have a copy of Casemap or even know how to use it. You simply send them the information that they need. And of course, the reports are outputable to PDF format. You might want to check to see whether the reports generate bookmarks. That would be really nice if it did, wouldn't it? And you never know, that might be a question for the final exam. Okay, that wraps up today's class, and the next class will be picking up where we left off before with Professor Cialino.